welcome back to another episode of The Will Be Expletives. I'm Jeff.
I'm Ron.
And unbeknownst to you fans out there, all like Scott Peters of you, there is actually the definitive Ultimate Edition coming of There Will Be Expletives.
Dun dun dun.
Even more expletive action. Sunday. Yeah, at that point you pointed out, we'd be pretty much just be George Carlin, which I'm always on board
Yeah.
for George Carlin.
Yeah, we're already pretty bad as it is, even for our title. So.
Yeah, we're pretty bad. So,
Pretty fucking bad.
Speaking of pretty bad, we're going right into the news, and we're going to talk that garbage dick poster that the Power Rangers movie put out.
Okay. So, they had us, then lost us, and then had us a little bit. And then they really had us, and then the poster came out.
So what's it got? And I encourage everyone to Google the Power Rangers poster we're talking about, just so you have a frame of reference. The poster would be really cool if it was the top 75% of it.
Yes.
The top portion of the poster is this really cool constellation of the Power Rangers symbol, and it would have been a really, really cool teaser poster.
Yeah.
And then they have all of the cast out of costume, looking at a sunset like they're filming a Michael Bay movie.
Not even that. To me, the way everybody's positioned, like most of them are on top of the car. I'm assuming Jason's the one leaning against the car, probably the Red Ranger. To me, it looked like a fucking tween novel cover.
Or, you know what it also looks like? Is like that South Park where they're posing for the Christian rock band. That's exactly what it could be. Like, what the serious fuck were you guys thinking? Because you know what I want to see my Power Ranger poster? Teenage angst.
It was right on the heels of the Bryan Cranston announcement last week.
Yeah, so I'm going to go to the theater on $5 Tuesday, and I'm going to bring headphones for every time Bryan Cranston is not on screen, which is going to be 95% of the film.
Movie.
So, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to be hoping
funny.
they kill Bryan Cranston to pull a Godzilla. That way I can walk out of the movie and be sure that I'm not missing anything. Did you have anything else to add with this? Did this actually damper your expectations? I have zero expectations for this film.
It did damper it a little bit, I'm going to be honest.
It's a pretty terrible poster.
It felt like I said, a tween novel cover, but at the same time, it's weird because you look at the costumes and you look at Elizabeth Banks and Bryan Cranston being involved. It's like
you had me.
They're taking it seriously.
You had me at look at Elizabeth Banks, and then that's just this is it.
But you can tell just by the casting choices and the Rangers suits themselves that they're taking it seriously. And then you get that fucking poster, and I'm like, what happened?
Well, the problem with the poster is, like I was talking about, they are so close to having a cool poster.
Yeah,
and it's like, who's brilliant fucking that wasn't even cool 12 years ago.
Yeah.
That has never been cool. It's not even like a retro thing. I don't get it. Why not do Star Trek? They've been doing the callbacks. I think they should have done a callback to the Mighty Morphin movie poster. That would have been really cool. Like, they could have had Cranston as the first reveal, where Zordon might have been on an image or something. Something.
Yeah,
something.
Give me just the logo for the Angel Grove cafe thing that hung out in that Ernie ran. Remember that? That's where everything took place. They were not morphed.
They had a fantastic idea that they used and then ruined. So yeah, I don't know. I have zero expectations. This movie could be fucking awful. It could be surprisingly good. I literally don't know what to think about it. Yeah. So it's a complete wild card to me. I'm actually curious to see how it goes. I'm curious to see what the box office returns are for it. They want to make a franchise out of it. I'm really curious about how it goes, not only critically, but with the fans and with the box office. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
I think critics are going to tear it a new one.
Speaking of the intent to make a shit ton of sequels, did you hear this about Indiana Jones?
No, I did not.
So obviously we've talked recently about Indiana Jones 5, right?
Yes.
They are planning multiple sequels with Harrison Ford following this.
With what time?
Apparently, they actually went back and found the real Holy Grail from the third movie. I don't know. I love Harrison Ford.
All the filming has to take place inside the temple. You can't leave the temple with the Holy Grail.
It's I don't know. I think at some point Steven Spielberg might have lost his mind, and he thinks he lives in a time warp where Harrison Ford is still 45. Because I love Harrison Ford, and I thought he was fantastic in Force Awakens. Yeah. But we're not at Indy 5. Is
that's a lot of energy.
Indy 5. The first new movie coming out is 3 years from now or 2. That's already pushing it. I don't know. If to me, if you're wanting to go this route, I would have done a soft reboot and just had a new actor.
Carl Urban, Bradley Cooper,
somebody we like.
Carl Urban as Bones is basically Indiana Jones. Just stick him in the 1940s or the 1930s, you got it.
Throw in Stanley Tucci as the dad because we have to include Stanley Tucci.
Yes,
yeah.
Because movie
that was casted by Ron
because
Jeff.
reasons.
Because TWBE. But yeah, this is, I mean, obviously we'll be watching them, but it's just very strange to me that they're planning this.
Wait, even if he's using a walker and it's like Indiana Jones and like escaping the nursing home or something, I'll be watching. I'm not gonna lie. But
Indiana Jones in the geriatric tomb. Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious about it. I wish they had just rebooted it, kinda.
I do too.
Because I don't know. I mean, I'm obviously interested in it because it's fucking Indiana Jones and it's goddamn Harrison Ford, but I think it's a weird direction.
He's signing up for it, or at least Indy 5, so he feels like he can tackle that. We'll see how this goes.
He's come back from Blade Runner as well.
Yeah.
With old Ryan Gosling. So, hey, you actually might have a little more interest in Blade Runner now because of Nice Guys. That's pretty cool. Yeah, while we're talking about sequels involving Harrison Ford, we can't help but talk a little bit of all of these Star Wars rumors coming out. And for Rogue One, obviously they're not going to be bringing back Harrison Ford, but they are bringing back Darth Vader officially. What do you think about that, Ron?
I think they almost have to, even if it's just like a cameo scene or something.
Yeah, this was already kind of like believed by everyone, but it wasn't until Entertainment Weekly actually put it on the cover, like officially Darth Vader is returning. They are having him back as the voice, James Earl Jones back as the voice, which is good. Hopefully he will not include in his dialogue, no, that's not fucking George Lucas. So that's pretty cool. I'm actually really excited for Rogue One, just for the simple fact that we have a Star Wars film where main characters can die at any point. I think that's very cool.
Most of them Bothans.
Obviously, many of them actually. The thing about it that I liked, their kind of buzzword they were throwing around was they were saying this is Star Wars meets Band of Brothers. Did you ever watch Band of Brothers?
Long time ago.
It's fantastic HBO miniseries, World War II, very very good. And one of Tom Hardy's first roles actually was in Band of Brothers. Which I'm all over that. If it's like they're talking like this is straight up a war movie, which it's kind of cool. It took them 35 Star Wars movies to actually have a war. Quick aside, how much bullshit was it that in the fucking prequels the Clone Wars happened off screen? That was horseshit. George Dredd. That was horseshit. Boba, we're having it in the cartoon.
I cut all those movies a lot more slack than the average Star Wars fan because I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. But that is bullshit.
That's pretty much bullshit.
I'm still calling bullshit on Terminator because I
knew that's where you were going. I was about to bring it up if you didn't.
And Star Wars did the same fucking thing.
Yeah, it's fucking lame. Yeah. Speaking of Terminator, we can't help but have our little segue over to our just fucking best of friend, James Cameron.
His name is James Cameron, the bravest pioneer. No budget too steep, no sea too deep. Who's that? It's him, James Cameron.
Goddamn right.
I can't believe neither one of us didn't break out into song.
Well, probably because we were singing along with it for like 30 minutes before we started the show. Oh, James Cameron. This is the like most amazing James Cameron being James Cameron article I think I've ever read. I encourage people to actually go and read the full quote because I'm just going to be including a snippet of it, but
you just want people to see your banter back and forth in the comments.
Yeah, you can go check that out. Me and the really, really colorful dialogue going on the bottom of the Collider pages. I also really think Discus and Collider need to work on their moderation because I was actually able to be called, quote, a fucking retard, end quote. I was like, wow.
Who used the word retard? I'll break his fucking legs.
And now you made it worth it. Just because I got... This show has just evolved into nothing but South Park references. But yeah, okay.
That's all the show's ever been, I think.
So, James Cameron took a moment, he has to take a break finding the bar every now and then. And he took a second to check out that old movie called Star Wars The Force Awakens, and he decided to go and chime in on it.
Because James Cameron.
Because James Cameron has to... James Cameron must tell you James Cameron's opinion. But I actually really wanted to include this because obviously I would just like to put at the forefront of this, these quotes are not like egregious. He was not a complete asshole about this. It's just a simple fact of how ironic it is to me. So, these were some of his quotes. This film was more of a retrenchment to things you had seen before and characters you had seen before, and it took a few baby steps forward with new characters, so for me the jury's out. I want to see where they go with it. Basically being very kind of condescending in true James Cameron fashion to me. Yeah. Wasn't egregious. He's not wrong. But this is the guy who made fucking Pocahontas with blue aliens with a $500 million budget. This is the ultimate pot calling the kettle black I've ever seen in anything. It's like when you are seeking out an opinion from someone who, reuses ideas, you sought out the master when you interview James Cameron about this shit. Yeah, I mean, you and I have gone on about Force Awakens and how, he's, like I said, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
It's just, you haven't made a good movie, in my opinion, in over 20 years, James Cameron. So why don't you go back to finding the bar or actually making a good movie before you talk shit about J.J. Abrams?
Yeah.
Last time I checked, no one's been hitting up James Cameron with Make-A-Wish Foundation requests, going to meet him or going to a set. Just saying.
What is he even doing now? He's not working on Avatar 2.
I'm pretty sure he is smoking fucking weed and blowing hookers. Getting blown by hookers on fucking
Cameron.
Only James Cameron can blow hookers. I'm just like to put that out.
That's my favorite
He's snorting blow-off hookers in Cancun through $100 bills that he made off Avatar. I don't know what the fuck James Cameron's doing.
At this point, doesn't he just own Cancun after the money he got from Avatar?
I'm still upset about how much money that goddamn movie made.
It's still my dad's favorite movie of all time.
I love your dad, but it pains me. It pains me.
It hurts us.
It burns us. Yeah. Go check out the Collider comments, because they're lots of fun. I discovered that fucking James Cameron fans are even more crazy than Superman fans.
And that's saying something.
Because, goddamn, you talk shit about James Cameron movies, it is like you insulted Jesus Christ in, the fucking church. I don't even know what to say. Some of the reactions I got off of that. I obviously went back and trolled all of them, because that's what you do. But
as one does.
Yeah. I don't get it. Did you have any opinions on this other than James Cameron's kind of a... Okay, that's the other thing I would like to say. If any other director that I know, isn't notoriously known for being a douchebag, I would have...
Ridley Scott.
Less issue. Like, when have you ever heard Ridley Scott or, like, Steven Spielberg or J.J. Abrams in an interview... Now, I'm not saying J.J.'s in that class. I'm just saying, like, high-profile directors...
Right.
That come across as normal dudes like they do. James Cameron comes across as a gigantic tool to me.
Yeah, he does.
So I judge his comments more harshly due to his own personality that he is, brazenly on display because he's an asshole. And he doesn't really care if you think he's an asshole because he's fucking blowing hookers, like I said, in Cancun. Yeah.
Jeff. James Cameron does not do what James Cameron does for James Cameron. James Cameron does what James Cameron does
for
because
hookers.
James Cameron is... James Cameron.
Yes, exactly. If you have not seen the James Cameron South Park episode, for the love of God, go correct that now. Oh, James Cameron. Anyway, let's just play it again. Just do the quick one. James Cameron. There we go. That is an end to that little segment. Next up in the news. Speaking of movies that have no story, we're going to talk about Minecraft, Ron.
Oh, god damn. This movie shouldn't even be happening.
Oh, but it is. And it hits theaters May 24th, 2019, 2 weeks after Avengers Infinity War Part 2, and a couple of weeks before Justice League Part 2, I believe.
So ridiculous. That is suicide. Who the fuck... Okay, first off, who the fuck cares about a Minecraft movie to begin with? And then second off, who the fuck's going to care when you have the choice of seeing... I heard that it's also like on the heels of a Star Wars movie, of like Episode 8. And so you could have your pick between Avengers, Justice League, and Star Wars, or Minecraft. Which one are you going to be jumping to see?
At this point... Is that guy who did BVS still writing Justice League? Because I might at this point say, like, that whole Minecraft, that hasn't burned me before. I'm going to go check out Minecraft. No, but in all seriousness, the problem with Minecraft is this property, if it was a game that actually had a story, I wouldn't have as much of a problem with this. but it is a wildly successful game.
Minecraft story mode.
God damn it. Fucking Telltale. You just can't help yourselves. Eventually we're going to have Telltale Tetris just because they want to have the 3 T's next to each other. But seriously, I don't have I don't have an issue with a Minecraft movie if it was actually a fucking game that had a goddamn storyline. But yeah, this will probably make some decent money because fucking Pixels made decent money.
Yeah.
So this will make decent money, but I always go back to this, and it happens with video games too. Ron, how many weeks are there in a year?
52.
How many of those are not right next to fucking 2 of the biggest movies of the year?
Yeah.
I do not understand. I do not understand why they do this all the time. It happens all the time. This weekend.
It's like they think, well, we're going to attract the crowd that are interested in the fucking Avengers, Star Wars, or Justice League.
It happens this very weekend. This weekend, BFG, The Purge, and Tarzan all come out on the same week. Like, why are you guys competing? Pick a different fucking weekend. There is nothing that comes out in like September, period. Just like, if you had a Minecraft movie come out in September, it's okay. Here's the thing too. This is oriented at gamers. Gamers don't give a shit what time of year it is.
Yeah.
They're in fucking side playing games year round. It doesn't fucking. You don't have to have it out in the summer. Like, what the serious fuck are you thinking? I guess they don't want to make money, but. I don't even know what to say. Also, this isn't helping video game movies, which by this point...
That's my biggest issue.
Minecraft might not even happen.
Yeah.
Because you said Warcraft was garbage.
Oh, yeah.
What really made my jaw drop was when you said it was even worse than BVS, and you fucking hated BVS.
Yeah.
My jaw hit the floor.
I would watch Batman vs. Superman again well before I go to see Warcraft again.
I'm almost curious to go watch Warcraft now just to see how bad it is, because you
Redbox it.
Well, I'm obviously not paying. I'm not getting them $5. They got $1.25. I'm not getting my $5.
It seriously reminded me of Aladdin and the Death Lamp on Sci-Fi Channel. Is more or less what it reminded me of.
Damn.
It was basically horseback riding the movie.
How do you fuck up a Warcraft movie that bad? I don't even know.
I don't know.
For the love of God, Assassin's Creed, don't be terrible. Take Kanye out of the soundtrack, and for the love of God, don't be terrible.
Tonight is There Will Be Expletives, Jeff Blows a Blood Vessel edition.
Well, we have invoked James Cameron and Kanye so far, so it's just... it's just... He's like a dirty word now. I don't get it. I think it will end up making... Because like, the thing about Minecraft, I don't know if you're aware of this, like every year, they run like the year-end top 10 video game sales.
Yeah, and Minecraft always
is
in the
always
list.
Every year in the top 5, and I have no idea how all those people don't already own it on every console or system by now. It's baffling to me.
I am completely baffled by that game. I don't understand.
I would say I don't think Minecraft is necessarily a bad game. I think it's just obviously not for us.
I can't say one way or another because I've never played it. It's like you said, it's clearly not marketed towards us, but it completely baffles me because I don't get the interest.
I don't know. I see more interest in that than I do No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
I'll give them that. I'm not shitting on Minecraft either.
I'd pay full price for Minecraft before I played No Man's Sky.
I think Minecraft is just not for me. I kind of get people just kind of like fucking smoking weed, zoning out, and building shit for 3 hours with their buddies. I think I'm behind that. Like, I'm just saying, like, for a movie, when video games are on like the verge of we're not getting them anymore because we're getting into some dark times if Assassin's Creed's bad.
I know everything at this point
at this
hinges on Assassin's Creed.
It makes me sick because can you even think of another one, like another big profile one after that?
I mean, not really. I mean, I'm sure that there may be other video game movies we're not thinking of.
Last of Us and Uncharted are both in development hell. How? Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know how.
Tomb Raider seems like it might be climbing its way out of development hell since they finally casted. But
Tomb Raider, if they actually...
As far as high profile goes, like, it looks like they're going all in on Assassin's Creed. Fassbender read the script and signed up, and he said that was his first exposure to Assassin's Creed ever. So, and he has, like you're fond of saying, he can literally pick what script he wants to do at this point.
Yeah.
And he chose to do Assassin's Creed.
What bodes well for Tomb Raider is that Alicia Vikander did accept it because she's off of like 2 or 3 Oscar nominations and a couple of wins, I think. So she's like crushing it right now. Yeah. So no. Her
is that adult Arya? Because there's one girl in the trailer that looks like a grown up. Not that.
Oh no! Alicia Vikander was cast as Tomb Raider.
Oh, Tomb Raider.
Yeah. Okay. So if Assassin's Creed sucks and that Tomb Raider one sucks, if it ever does manage to come out, we're fucked for like 15 years.
Here's the good news about Tomb Raider. I know this is a big aside from Minecraft, but here's the good news with Tomb Raider at least. Assassin's Creed is very open world, and then Warcraft, there was so much lore to pick and choose from, and it didn't seem like they chose to do any of it. But Tomb Raider is very linear, and it's basically a movie already that you're in control of. So as long as they just follow that game,
but they won't.
They won't.
But they won't, unfortunately.
But as long as they, just at least look at the game and just go with it, then it I don't see how it can be as bad as Warcraft. That's for sure. But
I can. What's
the thing that you and I have always said about we don't understand why Uncharted is in development hell and why Last of Us is in development hell is the same thing that Tomb Raider has going for it. So
yeah, for whatever reason, they just Sony, man, step it up. Like because like what sucks about it is Uncharted and Last of Us and Tomb Raider are so easy to translate. At least they should be because of their recent games. That they are the ones that could easily get the ball rolling and get more talent dedicated towards this because eventually we will have superhero burnout and they have to have something to turn to. Mm-hmm. So this is just a bummer. Warcraft being I haven't seen it, but Warcraft being apparently terrible by all accounts was a real bummer.
I could not wait to get out of that theater.
And you were actually like pretty stoked for it too.
Oh yeah. So it hurt even worse.
Yeah.
And Chris, who had zero expectations for it, she could take it or leave it. She was just like, "This is bad." And my buddy Bobby was there, and I think he was trying to find reasons to like it. I don't think he liked it really well because when we walked out, he was just kind of like, it had highs and lows. I'm like, it had some lows.
Was there a joke told?
There was, I think, a couple.
They were probably all in the trailer. Like BVS syndrome.
No, I think they were all like deep lore stuff. Like
so
that game was written for like fucking Jamie Lee Curtis. That movie was written for Jamie Lee Curtis, basically. Like, it's people who cosplay as the characters and they know all the shit and they play every day and all that stuff. That's who that movie was written for.
And if you want to make a trilogy like you were saying, you cannot do that. You have to make it like Marvel does, fully accessible by everyone.
It does do kind of the Agent Carter route, though. I will tell you that without spoilers, that it kind of closes the story and then kind of opens the next, like the Agent Carter season finale did.
You know what? I'm actually going to say it. I think the problem with that one, I haven't seen it, because my opinion might change when I watch it. I think that one got studio fucked, because I've seen Duncan Jones make two damn good movies in Moon and Source Code, which I think you would dig both of them quite a bit.
I was curious about Source Code. That's the train one, right?
That's the train one with Jake Gyllenhaal. Very, very cool.
The time travel for X amount of seconds.
It's pretty much like a Black Mirror episode. It's very cool. And Moon is Sam Rockwell and Kevin Spacey, and they're fucking amazing. Kevin Spacey.
You already sold me with the actors.
Sam Rockwell is alone on a moon station. The only person he has to talk to is Kevin Spacey, who is the AI, and it's a very, very cool little sci-fi film. So yeah, I think the movie got studio fucked. I think it got a little bit of tranked, like where they stepped in basically and kind of like manhandled the movie because the director was not a big enough name to where he could have his actually put his foot down.
Tell them to get their fucking hands off.
I think that's probably what happened. And what's a shame is like Duncan Jones, with his background in like sci-fi and geek stuff like that, might have actually had like some promising ideas for it that just got fucked. Like,
I will tell you this though: the sweetest part of that movie was that Blizzard logo, their animation for it when the Blizzard logo came up. Like, at that point, I was still sold on the movie because it's the very beginning of the movie, and I was just like, "Oh, that's amazing!" And that was one of the first things that we talked about when we went to Red Robin afterwards. My buddy Bobby was just like, "That Blizzard logo was sweet." I was like, "Yeah, it was."
Oh yeah, it was a fun. I wouldn't know. I wasn't invited. I wouldn't know. I'm just gonna go cry. Let's bring the room up a little bit and actually talk about something we're looking forward to, and that is goddamn Spider-Man Homecoming, Ron. Give it to me now. Fucking give it to me now.
I want it.
We got our first set picks today from it, which bode really well for the movie. Apparently, Tom Holland is doing some of his own stunts because he's a gymnast, apparently. Have you seen where he's actually doing like
gymnast?
A gymnast, blah, 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 blah. He's actually he's in a video where, have you seen it? He can do a standing backflip.
Really?
Yeah. Which is pretty cool because Tobey Maguire looked like he was, 55? So now the new Spider-Man can actually do a standing backflip. That's an upgrade, I'm just saying. Yeah, because fucking Tobey Maguire was in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. That's a long time ago.
You want some ether?
I know. I just want to watch Fear and Loathing now.
I love that movie.
It's so good. Yeah. So you saw the pics. The costume has minor adjustments to it. Like, in Civil War, it looked like a portion of it could have been, if it wasn't added in with CGI after the fact. It had kind of like that kind of glossy look to it. This one looked like they put more design into the actual suit, which is pretty cool. That means they don't have to do as much in post.
Yeah,
I would imagine, because everyone, most people liked it a lot. The eyes, I hope they continue the eyes moving.
I hope they do too.
I really liked it.
That's one thing that actually kind of surprised me, because the mask, I would have expected to basically be kind of like green around the eyes or something like that, but it was just white with the black lines. So that part actually kind of surprised me, because it doesn't look like anything like mocap wise or animation wise set up. But yeah, no,
I'm really curious to see how they do his spider sense, because they intentionally left that out of Civil War so they could delve into his powers more in the solo.
They kind of took the Daredevil route in Civil War, where it's just kind of implied that it's there.
And it was also really cleverly written in with the script too, how he was still getting a grasp of his powers. That was really well written. Bravo to those guys, man! It was a beautiful script. Yeah, we cannot freaking wait. Spidey comes out next June, something around there, May maybe.
I think the way it comes out in June. What is it? What do we get? We get Doctor Strange, and then after that, is it Infinity War Part 1?
I think it might go directly to,
and then Spider-Man.
I think it might go directly to.
Or does it go Doctor Strange to Spider-Man?
I think it might go directly to Spider-Man. I could be wrong. The only one I know is, I think, obviously we know Doctor Strange is November. I think. When is Thor?
Well, that's a good question.
I get it really mixed up.
You know what? It's Stall.
Doctor Strange. Looking like a pretty solid movie. I might want to check that out. I don't know. I'm still on the fence. No, but with so Doctor Strange is November 4th. Spidey's coming out sometimes next year. Oh, Guardians is at some point in 2017.
I
have no fucking idea what their schedule is. They've probably added 5 more movies since you've been looking this up right now.
I know, right?
So, yeah,
it's crazy. Okay, so Doctor Strange is next on November 4th. Dude, 2017 is busy, because as of right now, in 2017, we're getting Guardians on May 5th, Spider-Man on July 7th, and Thor in November.
Boom.
So we're getting 3 years as of right now, if nothing changes.
I'm excited.
Black Panther, February of 18.
Man, I need Black Panther too, man. I'm fucking stoked for Black Panther.
And then just a few months after that, on May 4th, is Avengers Infinity War.
I am still.
We got 3 in 2018 too, because Ant-Man and the Wasp is July of 2018.
That was part of the reason why, Inhumans got canceled, because their schedule got I think that even they realized we cannot overload this too much. We get Captain Marvel before we get Infinity War Part 2. Now, how is that going to play in? Because we get Ant-Man and the Wasp and Captain Marvel. We introduce at least Wasp and Captain Marvel before the Part 2. Since I don't think it's been 100% confirmed yet, I was saving it for actual confirmation. But if they do, as they've said, end up casting Allison Brie, or no, Brie Larson. God, I mixed up their names. They're so easy to mix up. If they ended up getting Brie Larson in that role, my interest level skyrockets for her, because she's awesome. She's really, really fantastic. Yeah. In other Spider-Man news, this was a really, really disturbing story to me. I encourage anyone who hasn't heard of the story to search it out. Apparently, Elizabeth Banks, who everyone knows and loves now, but back around the time the first Spider-Man movie from Sam Raimi was coming out, was just kind of an up-and-comer. She ended up being in the movie as Betty Brant. She's J.K. Simmons' assistant at the Daily Bugle.
Which I didn't know until tonight.
Well, yeah, she actually, this might have been her last role ever with actual dark hair, because she, she's more recognizable now for her standard like blonde look now. But she was cast as Betty Brant in the movie, and then that was just kind of that. And then she started talking over the last week or so. I forget what outlet it was to, but she was apparently up in the running for Mary Jane in the film, but was deemed too old. Which, first of all, this depresses me because Elizabeth Banks, compared to Kirsten Dunst, could have single-handedly made those movies 5 times better.
I was going to say, that's a completely different movie.
Just because of how terrible Kirsten Dunst was in that role.
I think it got Huntsman. I think Kirsten Dunst just had sex with the right person. I think it got Huntsman.
Who knows? But the role went to Kirsten Dunst, who was 18, and Elizabeth Banks was 28 at the time, just 16 months older than Maguire. And it is such a disturbing kind of like retroactive look at the way Hollywood. Like, this was, a while back in like 2001. I
was going to say, yeah, it's
been
15 years.
But it's not like we're talking 30 years ago either.
Yeah.
It's it's fucked up that this was going on even in the 2000s.
Hollywood is pretty behind the times.
I mean, this is on the heels, too, of all of that Iron Man 3 nonsense. Like, it's really disturbing the way this has been set up. But yeah, Kirsten Dunst, I mean, age has nothing to do with it, in my opinion. She was just miscast no matter what age she was at the time. She was just terrible in the role. I don't think Kirsten Dunst is like the absolute worst actress ever. I just think she was really, really miscast because like Emma Stone would have been a perfect Mary Jane because she's supposed to be charismatic and spunky, and Kirsten Dunst is neither one of those things.
Neither one of those things.
Yeah, Elizabeth Banks has some charisma to her. She would have been really, really good. She has more charisma in the 30 seconds of screen time as Betty Brant.
There was some tennis movie or something that Kirsten Dunst was in. I was shocked when I saw part of it because my parents were watching it for some god-awful reason. But I was shocked because she was actually acting. And I was like, I don't know where this was in Spider-Man.
Yeah, and other things I've seen her in, she's actually pretty solid. Like, I mean, she's not exactly Gary goddamn Oldman, but she's solid.
Yeah.
She's totally respectable. And then in Spider-Man, I mean, part of it is just their scripts, like...
Yeah.
All the casting decision-making went towards the villains, obviously, because Old Man Maguire was a bad choice as well. Yeah. He wasn't, like, the absolute worst at the time, but retroactively looking at it, it was pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah, they kind of made... Like, I feel like they made, like, the Clooney decision because they casted Peter Parker. They didn't really cast Spider-Man. Like, I feel like Val Kilmer and Clooney, they were casting Bruce Wayne and not casting Batman. So
yeah, it's a shame, but yeah, it's really, really curious to go back and look at like the what ifs of Hollywood history type of thing. Like, what if Elizabeth Banks had been put in that role? Just how different the movies could have been. Yeah. While we're talking Marvel, we have.
Oh, dude,
we have to bring.
I just had a Spider-Man thought. Elizabeth Banks is Black Cat.
My ass meat seat. Dude, I fucking watch Power Rangers just because Elizabeth Banks did them. But yeah, we're talking more.
That's Elizabeth Banks v. Zordon, dude. V. Bryan Cranston himself.
Yeah, I'll watch every scene they're in. And not Teenage Angst, that's for sure. We have one last Marvel thing to talk about, and that is, for the love of God, YouTube Deadpool Japan.
Oh my God.
And you will not be displeased at what pops up because it is fucking amazing. I will not spoil any of the jokes. I will just say what they did was, for the Japanese trailer for X-Men Apocalypse, they did not an after credits movie type of thing. They did an after trailer sequence.
Yes.
In true Deadpool fashion. It's Ryan Reynolds back being Ryan Reynolds, the amazingness that is, and he's just hilarious. I will not spoil any jokes. I just encourage you to check it out because it is fucking astounding.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Speaking of astounding, Ron, let's talk about some goddamn Game of Thrones. And
yes.
How good was this last season, Ron?
Oh my God, it was amazing.
Yeah.
So good, we started a podcast about it called Tonight's Watch.
That people somewhat actually listen to. I'm stunned.
I know.
I can't believe
more people listen to it than they listen to this goddamn show.
Shout out to everyone who actually listens to this goddamn show and who also listen to that. Yeah. They have announced the Season 7 directors. Now, they have confirmed Season 7 and Season 8 are going to be shortened. They have said they have roughly 13 to 15 more episodes left, and they've not said how they're going to divvy it up. The standard belief is that this next season is going to have 7 episodes, and the final season has 6. Well, They've not confirmed the amount of episodes yet, but they have confirmed the directors. There are 4 names for season 7. Alan Taylor, they have brought back, who was one of their big heavy hitter directors early on in the show. He left to go and do Thor: The Dark World and Terminator Genesis, and we liked them, but they, especially Terminator, just because of its box office will kill your career in Hollywood faster than anything.
Yes.
You can be the most talented fucker in the world. If the shit don't make money, you will not get greenlit for future projects. That's just the unfortunate thing. It happens all the time. Alan Taylor is back, which I'm actually really excited about. Some of his stuff was very, very good in the earlier seasons. Jeremy Pedeswa? Yeah, okay.
Sure.
He might be one that they brought back. Mark Mylod, I'm pretty sure, was one they brought back from previous seasons. The interesting one was they have brought over Matt Shackman, I don't know how to pronounce his name, I apologize.
I'm shocked you don't know how to pronounce that.
I see what you did there. Nicely done. You just couldn't help yourself.
Nope.
He is a TV veteran, best known for helming, and this is according to Collider, 39 episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which is very fucking random for Now, to be fair, the two dudes that are directing that little movie called Avengers: Infinity War are known for Arrested Development and Community.
Yes.
So this can happen. This dude could come out and light the world on fire. We don't know. I just thought it was kind of random.
Also,
and funny.
to be fair, he's done 2 episodes of Fargo in season 1,
which I need to watch really, really desperately.
and a little bit of the Good Wife and whatever the hell You're the Worst is.
I've never heard.
I
You're the
guarantee
Worst.
you, it's probably the worst though.
Yeah, it's probably on the ball with the advertising.
But yeah, so I don't know. It could be interesting.
Yeah. You pointed out probably heavy dinklage.
Yeah,
you're brave. You're the comedy guy.
It's probably everybody gets 1, maybe a couple of them get 2, and the rest are Benioff and Weiss. Just all Benioff and Weiss everything.
No, the fan reaction to this, people really didn't care about the names that were on the list as much as who was left off. Jack Bender, who did the Hodor episode and the one following it, and has been a pretty big fan favorite. He was left off the list, and Miguel Sapochnik, the it name right now, who did Hard Home, Winds of Winter, and Battle of the Bastards.
The Reckoning.
The fucking Reckoning. Yeah, he has kind of almost rejuvenated the show in a way.
Yeah.
Which it didn't really even need rejuvenating. He did it fucking anyway. I think what might end up happening is if they end up going the 13 episode route, let's say that happens, I think they're going to film them back to back to save the production costs of having to bring everyone back. And I think they're saving Jack Bender, and I could very well see the last 2 or 3 episodes of the show being Miguel Sapochnik, because they went back and did it with the season, with the 2 biggest episodes of maybe the show period in these last 2 with Miguel Sapochnik. Plus the guy's fucking amazing at it. Why would you not? I'm hoping the whole last 6 episodes are just Miguel Sapochnik. I'm okay with that. I think
that's if they're filming them. If they do film them back to back, that would make sense why his name's not on season 7, because you would save that talent.
You're saving Miguel Sapochnik
season.
for the dude. When shit hits the fan, you want Mr. Hardhome.
Yeah,
and Mr. Battle of the Goddamn Bastards.
I expect the last 2 seasons because they have so much ground to cover, to all be balls to the wall anyway.
Yeah, even more so than it already has been.
Yeah,
recently. But yeah, I think they're saving Jack Bender and Miguel Sapochnik for the final season. That's just my opinion. They could very well not film it back to back and still do that.
Yeah,
but that's the kind of impression I get, because
that's the way they do a lot of the Harry Potters. That's the way they did all of the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit. And that way you also don't have a gap in the actors or anything, though. You don't have, between movies, you don't have actors playing the characters slightly different or anything like that. They're still in that train of thought and in that mode. So while everything is just hitting the fan, they might just keep it all going and film it all back to back.
Yeah,
is what I would think.
And if it's 13, that's not. I mean, it is for how much they put into their show, but 13 episodes.
Well, when you're used to doing 10,
it's not. It's not and they'll get a second win knowing it's the end.
Yes.
So I think I have a feeling they're going to end up filming it back to back.
And I didn't see which specific actors, but apparently a bunch of the main ones I saw last week are going to be getting $500,000 an episode, so that'll help too.
Yes.
That's for season 7. We'll see what season 8 looks like.
Oh, I need Game of Thrones back. And it's also cool too, if they film it back to back, we might have a shorter gap in between the seasons, which also, get your Game of Thrones fix back on.
I think you were right when we were talking off mic, though, that 7 might happen a little bit later than normal because they'll need a little bit of extra time and they have fewer episodes so they can get away with it.
They'll end on time, not necessarily start on time,
yes,
I think.
And I think that we'll get the final season on time.
I would agree with that. One of our other favorite shows so far this season has been Preacher, which how much have you watched of it? Just still the pilot?
Yeah.
Yeah, you fucking get out of my podcast, motherfucker.
It's still one of my favorite shows, though.
It's so good. It's so good.
Hey, it was a movie. I saw Preacher the movie. It was 90 minutes.
It's so good. I've really, really been liking it. It is apparently a lot of people are because it has been renewed for season 2, and the episode order was increased from 10 to 13. And to that, I say, fuck yes.
I'm glad it wasn't 10 to 26. I can do 13, and yeah,
I need it now.
Anything that gets me more Dominic Cooper, I'm happy.
Oh
with
man,
anyway.
and Cassidy. Oh my god, they have knocked him out of the park in that show.
See, what happened was I watched the pilot. And then I was like, oh, no. I'm Netflixing this shit. So I have it all on my DVR right now.
You're going to binge it?
And I'm just going to binge it all.
Are you waiting for it to end, or are you just going to be binging them in bunches?
I'm going to wait until closer to the end of the season and just start blasting through all of it. Because I want to be caught up by like the last couple episodes because I don't want to risk spoilers. So...
Cassidy, that guy, and Dominic Cooper as Jesse Custer, they've just knocked out of the park. Cassidy, to me, is one of already the best casted comic book characters.
And not to mention the girl from S.H.I.E.L.D. and Warcraft, unfortunately.
Was she in Warcraft?
Yeah, she's Dominic Cooper's wife.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Their cast was so good. How did they fuck it up so catastrophically?
What is it? Ruth...
Ruth Niga or something. I don't know.
It's another one I'm afraid to say in public.
I need an adult. Yeah.
Bad touch.
Show us on the doll where the girl in the flower dress touched you. Another show that got renewed on that note is Mr. Robot. They were obviously renewed for season 2, but they also increased their episode order. Apparently, they've been increased from 10 episodes to 12. Which you haven't seen any of Mr. Robot, have you?
Nope.
I watched all of the first season. Really liked it. Thought it was pretty overrated just because people were freaking the fuck out over Mr. Robot. And I watched it. I was like, this is a good show, but it's not worthy of the Game of Thrones level freaking out to me.
Yeah, I'm just sick of hearing about it. That's the only reason why I haven't watched it.
Well, you're in luck, Ron, because they have also added an after show because of fucking course they have.
So, tell them the name.
Hacking Robot. I see what you did there, guys. Dude, I'm so sick of every goddamn show. Unless you're... Okay, Better Call Saul is one of okay, in my opinion, TV right now, and I put this on Twitter the other day too, Game of Thrones and Better Call Saul and then everything else. That's me. I adore Better Call Saul. I think it is genius. It doesn't need an after show.
No.
Hey, it was good. Done. There's not a mythology to Mr. Robot or Better Call Saul. Game of Thrones, and I will give Hardwick with The Walking Dead because he started up all this shit. I will give him that one.
And I can understand Walking Dead a lot more than I can understand Better Call Saul.
The only shows...
There's a lot more psychology and everything else involved.
Yeah, and there's crazy deaths all the time. There's a lot of big fan reactions to that too. The only shows that should be getting after shows are Game of Thrones and The Walking Dead, and that's it. Orphan Black and goddamn Mr. Robot don't need fucking after shows.
Mike got a garden hose and drilled some holes into it.
I did not see that coming. That was
yeah, it was just...
Yeah, I'm sick of the after shows. And while we're on the subject, be sure to check out Tonight's Watch. That is the weekly show that Ron and I do every season of Game of Thrones. And also, we will be doing Doctor Who. So keep an eye out for that after show. Doctor Who! I'll give them Doctor Who. I think you could do an after show on Doctor Who.
I think you could, but the UK is smarter than that. Yeah. So.
No, they're too busy doing Class. Yeah. They don't have time for an after show. Fuck that stupid
Bravo,
show.
Sir. That was excellent.
Yeah, the after show craze is just really getting on my head. Oh, After the Thrones? At least come with a good fucking name. When we were naming our shit, in 30 seconds, I had 3 names. After the Thrones? Are you fucking kidding me? I would be embarrassed to walk out on their stage. That is fucking abysmal.
That is the way I think about after I take a shit. Is After the Thrones.
Seriously, what the fuck? I can't even. Hacking Robot is too on the nose, but it's not that bad.
Yeah.
This is seriously gonna be the death of me. Let's continue on to some good
and
shit.
He's back, folks. He's back to blowing a blood vessel this episode.
James Cameron.
James Cameron.
Okay, let's bring it down a little bit before Jeff. I'm sorry, everyone. I've been screaming so much.
This one I'm interested in. You're even a little interested
I'm actually pretty. Yeah, I'm really stoked for this. So behind the scenes, there has been this whole Transformers. I don't know to what capacity this is even official, but they have Peter Cullen. That is his name, right? I didn't fuck up that. Okay, they have Peter Cullen on board voicing Optimus Prime for what is now being dubbed Transformers Combiner Wars. And I'm not exactly sure what this is leading up to. They've called it like a trilogy, but I don't know if it's like
the Prime Wars trilogy.
I don't know if they're saying it's going to be like 3 movies or if it's going to be 3 episodes of like a show. I don't know what the capacity is going to end up being.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
I don't even know if they've said officially
or how
yet.
canon.
But we got today a prelude video, which
is why I don't care, because I want to watch this. I want to watch it now.
Which I encourage everyone to go and check out because, and this is coming from a person who even doesn't like motion comics. Like, they have some very striking animation that is kind of like why I like it. It's kind of like half motion comic and half animation.
Yeah.
It is not straight at motion comic. There's some like smoke effects. There's some dust effects. There's like more moving parts to it to make it look more organic.
Did you ever see the Watchmen motion comic?
No, I have not.
It was a lot like that.
I might end up liking that one.
Rise of Technovore was a lot more of what you don't like in motion comics. But the Watchmen one, that's how I got introduced to Watchmen before the movie came out.
Now, was that actually the story of Watchmen, or was that just the pirate one? You know what I'm talking about?
No, the pirate one spun off of that.
So they did do both. They did both. Okay, because I was always... I think they put it on a separate DVD for the pirate one too, didn't they? Okay, that's what was confusing me. But typically I don't like motion comics, but I actually really like... What I don't like are motion comics that blatantly appear lazy to me. This one looks and feels like there's a lot of work.
They put a lot of work into it.
It looks gorgeous.
Got production value.
To me, it looked kind of like Transformers Devastation with like a hard anime edge to it. Like it had like really good lighting, very very cool color.
And then, like
palette.
you said, it's somewhere in between motion comic and animation,
which I am totally on board for. Like,
they are totally trying to appeal to the G1 crowd too.
Oh yeah, and they should. And this fucking prelude was 2.5 minutes, and it is better Transformers material than all 500 of the Bayformer movies.
The other thing too that was interesting, the article I was reading on it pointed out, aside from Transformers Devastation, you have not seen Megatron in his original G1 form in anything basically since then, because it is now illegal. You cannot make a toy that looks like a gun and sell it to a kid. It has to look vastly different from a gun, and Megatron's color scheme does not work for that. So they've always changed his form. Transformers Devastation did something genius, and they can do whatever they want in the animation, but the way Transformers Devastation got around that was his transformation was the G2 Megatron tank, but he looked like G1 Megatron in robot mode.
That's cool.
And the tank was the same color scheme as the gun, the silver and black. But this is the first time in animation, because everything in the animation stuff has to match the toys, so it's recognizable to kids. So, yeah, this is one reason why I feel like it may not be necessarily aimed at kids that are into the show.
Yeah, they've been kind of pimping it out as this is for the adults who are still fans, which I approve of, because the Bayformer movies, as far as I can tell, aren't really aimed at anybody.
Yeah,
they're just aimed at people who like to waste money on
They're just
movies.
Aimed at Shia LaBeouf so he can lock himself in a theater and watch his own movies.
And then just, no. Have you seen the Shia LaBeouf No Cut? We have to watch it as soon as we're done here.
Yes,
we do.
It's
fantastic.
But yeah, August 2nd, I believe, is the release for the part 1 of the Combiner Wars.
And right now, you can go on, if you go YouTube Transformers Combiner Wars, you can actually watch the prelude trailer we're talking about.
What's interesting in this is it's the Prime Wars trilogy or whatever, so that leads me to believe that part 1 is Combiner Wars, part 2 will be something else, and part 3 could be something else.
But part 2 is when Megatron finds the Infinity Gauntlet. Yeah.
Part 3, Sam becomes a prime.
So yeah, you will be able to check that out in August. Something we will not be checking out apparently anytime soon is poor Return to Arkham. Did you hear this?
I read an article. I don't think it's as bad as it sounds, but it is worrisome.
Them pushing it back and not giving a date is fucking
worrisome.
They already had the box art done.
Yeah.
Like, you could go on Amazon and see the box art, like, actually ready to go. This is a terrible, terrible sign. And of all companies...
I wonder what happened.
Of all companies, why would you give a release date when you just had that debacle of the PC version?
Yes.
If you didn't know for goddamn sure your game was going to be ready to go, why would you even give a date for it? Because this was a remaster. This wasn't something you even necessarily had to pimp out a date for, because it already has a built-in audience. People have already played the games. Like,
yeah, but also, from what I understood, even though it's a remaster, what they did to it was... A lot of the remasters are just kind of like HD up-res and stuff, but they actually went into full detail to make sure they made full use of PS4 hardware as if it was like made for a PS4.
This was actually, I believe, more on the end of from the ground up than just a graphics remaster.
It wasn't just a graphics remaster. They went in and made sure like the smoke effects worked the way they should on a PS4, like you expect from a PS4 game. And their goal was to make it look like it never came out for PS3 to begin with. It was always a PS4 game. So I'm like, what happened?
Now, what's actually
or PS4, Xbox One, all
why
that.
I'm actually not as broken up about this as I used to be is actually when this news broke, my buddy Reese put up a Facebook post about it, and actually kind of, I thought made some good points. Have you watched the side-by-side images from the remaster and the original?
No.
There's a video that's a supercut of it, of what footage they've released as actual gameplay footage compared to the original games. Actually, about 3/4 of the time, I like the look of the original game better.
Do you?
Yeah, and I want to show it to you after the fact and let you see it too, because Reese pointed out to me, he was like, on his Facebook post, he wasn't, aiming it at me.
Maybe that's what happened. That video came out and they're like, uh-oh.
Because they have, like, I think 7 or 8 images, and there were only, like, 2 or 3 of them where I liked the remaster better, and that is a bad, bad sign.
Yes.
Your whole thing is...
you and I are usually a lot more forgiving than most gamers.
So, yeah, I want to show... I'll definitely show it to you right after the episode. I want to see what your opinion is on it. But, yeah, it is pushed back indefinitely, which, man... They are just stumbling all over the place. And how do you fuck up Batman games right now? Like,
especially ones that have already flown off the shelves once before.
I thought it was really funny during the Steam sale. I saw the Arkham Knight PC version was on sale for $15. Like, why don't I just go set that $15 on fire in my backyard? That is a better use of that money. You're adorable. You're adorable, Warner Brothers.
But yeah, the way that I read, at least the article that I saw, especially in Hollywood, but usually video games too, when you hear the word indefinitely, what they mean is canceled. Because it usually doesn't end up recovering.
I think this will come out. I just think I'm worried.
What it sounded to me like is, I don't think it's all the way back to the drawing board, but it sounds like whatever it is, it's deep into the game, and they have to change a lot, and they have no idea how long it's going to take.
That's a shame.
Which is a bad sign. I didn't know about that video. I really wonder, how long had that video that compared it side by side been out before this news
I have no
out?
idea. We'll have to see.
Because that's interesting to me. That especially if a lot of people were feeling that way. If maybe they didn't notice that themselves, or just based on pure fan reaction, were like, "Oh no, we're not releasing this." Then
it was very weird too, because like there's one of Harley Quinn, and the remaster of Harley Quinn is like amazing. Like it is like. It could be the next PS4 game, like that good of an up-res and change to it. And there's a couple of the Joker where like the lighting's fucked up.
See, that was the other thing too. They said that they were changing it to make sure they take full use of the lighting effects.
Yeah,
in PlayStation 4
I think what probably I don't think it was probably necessarily like a gameplay function break like in Arkham Knight.
Yeah,
I think it was wow, we're not really happy about this, and we can't put this out right now because of Arkham Knight. They have to make it good.
Which still says something about the company. You know?
On the heels of Arkham Knight, they needed to win, and this is looking like... It's worrisome.
Yeah.
But yeah. I wish we could end on a better note than that, but, you know,
James Cameron.
there you go. We're on to save the day. But yeah, if you would like to check us out more, please like and subscribe. That gets you all of our content. If you are curious about hearing our further continuing adventures into Game of Thrones, we will actually be starting up this weekend Game of Thrones, a West Retrospective. We are going back to the very, very beginning and doing an episode each week, basically looking back at the show, you know, from hindsight of knowing what all is to come. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So definitely.
So you get to listen to us for 50 more weeks.
Fuck yes. Because who doesn't want to do that? Bless you, Scott Peters. If you would like to check out our social media links, we have Twitter and Facebook links in the description. And most importantly, if you know anybody else that might also like our content, we would greatly, greatly appreciate the share. With that, I am Jeff.
I'm Ron.
And more James Cameron.
His name is James Cameron.
Bye, guys.
Pioneer. No budget too steep, no sea too deep. Who's that? It's him, James Cameron.